to say that we have Brad back with us, approved by the board as CEO. That was probably, to me, the most exciting part of it. Yay!
That was great. Yay. I'm happy too.
Yeah, I bet.
It was a very positive meeting. I'm trying to draw on blank exactly what happened, but
Me too.
it was positive.
It was fairly short, and it was all positive. Oh, the union.
And then we had a really great, which I think we presented to you all, like a little celebration even at the end where we had, like, I called it my Bernie Sanders moment because we had like 100 employees of PSTA all standing there with the board and a photo op, and our social media person live streamed it.
It was fun. Yeah, it was fun. It was a good meeting. All right, so only action item we have today is the March 8th meeting minutes. Did everybody have a chance to review those? Any changes or edits to those that you saw? Okay, can I have a motion to approve? GW, second. Julie? All in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Super. Okay. Our first presentation today is by Ms. Cassandra Borchers on the October 2016 service improvements that will be rolling up in the next few months. Are you?
Do you want me to come up here and say hello? So I'm gonna grab my notebook. I don't often get whistled at me.
I find that hard to believe.
Let me pull this up because this is so exciting. Let me get my. So at PSTA, we're always trying to make things better, and this is no different. We've been talking about completely revamping our system in order to make sure that we are doing the best we can, we're being the most efficient that we can, and still serving the places that we need to, and serving, more importantly, the people that we need to. And so we've gone through a series of plans and technical work to look at where we can get some efficiencies. And now we're going to start talking about those proposals with everyone. So some of you may remember that we had this community bus plan in 2013. And we looked at the entire county, how can we provide the best service that we possibly can, and really mold the transit system to what the community needs. And we talked to a lot of people at that time to say, what do you want? What is it that we can do better for you? And we had a number of plans that went forward. And in 2015, we said, okay, this is a new snapshot of where we are, but we still want to do this redesign of the service, making sure that it's customer focused, and that we continue to do the best job that we can for our riders. We looked at a 10-phase plan of taking what we have and all of the resources and the routes that we have, and taking a look at every single route in the system to see how we could be more efficient. And we boiled it down to 3 phases. So we talked a while ago, and I think about half of you were here at the time, about some of the things that weren't working so well and how we could take those off the table. And then in February, we did this amazing job in downtown St. Petersburg of going from a hub system to a grid system, and it's working.
Yay!
It is working. And it looks great, and people are getting used to it, and we're very excited, and the public engagement that we did for that was also really very, very effective. So now we're going to look at the rest of the system, and we're going to do it in 2 parts. One is in October of 2016, we're going to make the changes that we need to make in North County, and then do some Mid-County, and in February do South County and the rest of Mid-County. And these efficiencies are going to make things better for everybody who uses the system, and that is the whole idea. And we've gone through a step-by-step process to make sure that we do that. But I want to make sure that I underline this because So what comes out of this process is us being able to make small improvements, even within the context of our current budget. So this is really very exciting. By the end of 2017, by the end of August, we're going to achieve some of those goals that we had in mind, for the last few years. Get to that grid network as much as we can. Overall, change that span of service. So on places where we know that people want later night service, can we get a few more trips later at night? And improve some of the weekend service. So we did that when we went in Williams Park, and we changed from the hub at Williams Park to the grid. Those efficiencies, we were also able to make some improvements to the 5 and the 7 at the same time. So have a few extra trips on those so that people can get that later service. So that's what we want to do, but now on a big scale. So this October 2016 system-wide streamlining, that is, we're going to do a number of things. And one of them is there are lots of deviations, little bits and pieces that people have asked for over the years. And this is about being streamlined, being more efficient. How are we going to make sure that we're still serving people, but take that time out of the network so that we can put it in other places. Bus stop consolidation. Elizabeth, you brought me a really nice note about some observations that you've had about people not using stop. We track those. We track who gets on, what kind of passenger are they, and where are they getting on, and where it's most used. That has everything to do with where we put shelters, where we put benches, and where we might remove some stops that are underutilized in order to gain some time in the system overall. But we track that. You don't have to be out there early morning because we have the numbers. That's right in your.
I want to see how you do it.
Yes. So we have a specific proposal that I'm going to walk through for you. We have some of our in front of you a color copy of the routes, sort of a before and after look at the routes that we're going to be exploring for change in 2016. So this is just one example of what we've gone through in order to get to this point. And this point is the kickoff of our public process. So we are just showing people what we've done back in the technical lab and getting the ideas out in the cities and the public about what do you think of this idea that we've come up just with the data. So I'm just going to show you a little bit of the data. So this is the Route 62, and as it is right now, comes up from Tyrone, uses Belcher, circles around to Safety Harbor, goes to Countryside, and then up to Boot Beach. And so this is the proposal that we started out with, and then tested with the data that we have available to us, which is to streamline it, go straight up Belcher to Countryside, and then to Boot Ranch. Now, a question maybe that you have is, well, then how does Safety Harbor get served? Well, I my spoiler. So again, this is a network. So how we want to make sure that we understand who's riding and how they're using it and how we can best serve them. And so we thought, for this part of the 62, the riders that we were seeing and the volumes that we were getting and the times of day that they were using it, they would be best served if we extended the Dunedin Fall Harbor connector into Safety Harbor. So when you look at the maps, all of that same area is served. It's just served in a different way. And we think this is going to not only be more efficient, but also allow us to do some other things throughout the system and extend hours on other routes. So this is some of the information that we looked at. This is just for the 62. We looked at the ridership and how is it going last year and the year before. What were people doing on the 62? What are they transferring to? This map over here is their origin and destination. So the dark blue dots are where people are telling us they're starting out, and the green dots are where they're finishing their trip. But these are people who rode the 62 in order to make that. start to see some of them are on the route, and some of them are transferring to other things. So what are they transferring to? And how do we make sure that we continue to make that connection, but also make it really well? And then we looked at each individual stop. Are people getting on at that stop? Are they getting off at that stop? And then what is the load on the bus? So you've noticed, you've gotten on a bus, you get to Grand Central, and everybody gets off, right? Because in the bus, the route is still going. It's just the middle of the route. But everybody's gotten off. So what does that mean? That means everybody is either that is their final destination or they're transferring. So can that other part of the route be served in a better way? And so we looked at all that. So we can tell if everybody gets off and then all new people get on at that location, then that becomes two different types of trips. And that's the kind of information that we use in order to make those decisions about do you make a long route or do you make several short routes, or do you combine different pieces of routes. So overall, this is the system that we have right now, and you say that we call it is our circuit board because and then how we would change the system to be a little bit different. And again, the different combinations of routes, shortening some routes, putting some pieces of routes with other routes based on what people are doing and how they're transferring. But the same coverage area is still there. So everybody still gets served, and we get to be more efficient. And because of those efficiencies, we get to add more service on the routes that need it the most. And so that's the whole goal of doing a whole service redesign. And I have to tell you that places like Jacksonville and Houston have done this, and not only have they met with great success, but they have had higher ridership and happier people. So we're hoping that their experience will be our experience as we start to go through this. And I also want to brag on the planning staff, because we are doing this entirely in-house.
Wow.
Entirely in-house, planning and scheduling together. And Bob is going to talk about where do we go from now that we've done the first technical analysis of it. Where do we go? Do you want to talk, or do you want me to?
You're welcome to if you want.
How are we going to then take this information out to people to see if they like it? So this is one of the stops that we make. But first we do some internal work to make sure that it's not just planning and scheduling, but the entire agency has an opportunity to poke some holes in what we've done and make some changes as well. So Bob's going to talk about that, and I'll be
What did I bumped this somehow. I just moved this screen and it bumped that way.
Laptop is selected. I got this.
Move this down. Which one?
Problems going upstairs too, because they're live streaming.
Oh, the training.
So I
Anyway.
Well, we have it on printout.
Right, that's true. Well, I'm sorry, I'm going to borrow this. What we do when we do something like this, and a lot of you may remember as we've gone through it before, is we want to get as much input and feedback. My boss missed that. She hates those two. From as many groups as we can. So we start with the plans that you see now, and then what we do is we take into safety, security, and training. We want to make sure that what we're planning for changes are okay there. Like, can we make that turn with a 40-foot bus? You don't think about those things, but they're important. If you can't make the turn, you can't put it in place. So we have a lot of internal meetings, and when we meet with the union, we meet with the drivers, we meet with the customer service representatives, and we get their input. And then what we were doing today, and have been for the last 2 weeks, we start to meet with the cities where we're going to make the changes. We meet with their city managers, their planners. What do they think? What are they looking for? What do they want to see?
Watch your head.
It's only my head. Sorry. Okay, now it's on. And we get their input. We were doing 2 of that. Oh, you'll see them in a bit, I hope. A couple of those today. We're meeting with Tarpon Springs and Oldsmar. We're running it by them, and we get their input. So we put all of this together, and then we start to bring it out to the public and to committees like you. And we bring all of that back in. We make changes just like we did in February. We thought we were pretty good to go, and we had some of these public meetings, and we got feedback and had some pretty good changes, good suggestions, and serious changes. So what we're looking at is for the time frame. Right now, we're in the area meeting with city and county staff. We're going to be moving to the internal workshops. We're finishing up, I guess tomorrow we've got the county. Then we'll be doing the public hearings and hope to have some ways to do feedback digitally as well. Here is our schedule for the workshops as it stands right now. I'm sorry, these are the city meetings. You can see we had 2 of them today and a few of them that are pending. And then this is where we're moving to the public workshops, which you've already scheduled. They are all the week of May 10th. And you'll notice that almost all of them are in the evening, because that is what the #1 request we get. People want to be able to come after work. We just don't get many people showing up during the daytime, and some who do say, well, I have to take time off to do that. So schedule 3 of them in the evening, except for the one which is a Saturday. We'll hold that here. We wanted to make sure that people had a chance to come on their day off on a Saturday, and all of these are served by PSTA. You can get there and leave and get back on a PSTA route. That's how we schedule all of this, yes. Which means DART and others, then we'll all have that service. And then we have a couple of contingent dates if we need public hearings. So from July through September, we're working on, once we get these down pat, now we have to do the outreach materials. And we'll work with marketing, and marketing is going to put together things like you saw for Williams Park, those booklets, and how we're going to take this out and get the information together. And we'll also be putting together our internal schedule for the ambassadors, because it's going to be even bigger than Williams Park. Because Williams Park was, and a lot of you, thank you for your help, was Williams Park and Grand Central. Well, now we're looking around the north part of the county, so we're going to have, we've got to be up in Countryside Mall, we've got to be at the Canals Park Transfer, we've got to be at Gateway, we've got to be in Park Street. So we've got a lot more going on. So we'll have more of that outreach and working on that, which will probably start about a week prior. We found out 2 weeks was a little bit long in Williams Park, where we'll have people out there. We may have some people riding the bus as well. You will also hear about that if anybody wants to volunteer. You'll get to come on out and put on one of these nice yellow vests. This yellow one size doesn't even come close to fitting all vests. They're perfect for Brad, but for some of us didn't quite make it. I think they had to corset me up to get me into one of those. But that's pretty much what we're looking at as far as the outreach and helping get input to get these plans together. And we'll keep you in the loop and informed on it, and come back to you for your first one. Thank you.
So you'll notice in your packet, some of the routes that are in North County and the routes in Mid County. And some of them you'll notice are up here, but aren't in your packet. And that is because when we looked at the data and we looked at what was happening on those routes, we decided this route is just fine. So we're not making changes just to make changes. We are making changes where we think that we can gain efficiencies, do the right thing, and make sure that we're serving people in the best way possible. And so with that, don't take any questions, but understand that we're going to have a very much deeper conversation about all of these routes at our public workshops.
Which ones did not? I mean, it's kind of like, you're kind of waiting for the other shoe to drop. Which ones are going to be fine?
So we'll be making no changes to the 60, the 76, and the 78 in this round. And then in February, we've already started the work for February, and the routes that are listed there, we don't feel like we'll have to make a change, though we're still working through some of the data right now.
What will be going into Safety Harbor?
So for that example of the 62,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I was going to try to figure out, in other words, if we get rid of that clause, how will people in Safety Harbor, what route will they have?
Yeah, so it's in yellow, so it may be hard to see.
Oh, okay.
But the Dunedin Palm Harbor connector right now comes into Countryside and stops there. What we'll do is we'll have that continue to the spa, and we're looking with the city. We're looking at the right place to turn around within downtown Safety Harbor or Clinton Park.
But basically, they will be able to get from Safety Harbor down to Tyrone.
They'll have to go into Countryside and then go down. Yes. Sorry, the chair, if she's got, I don't know if she's got people lined up. Is there?
I think our chair is departing us.
Okay, go ahead.
Yes.
I apologize, but you're in good hands with Gloria, so.
Okay.
I just noticed lots of hands, and I try not to take pictures.
Yeah, Gloria can take over calling on folks.
Okay, so now I'm calling on people who are wanting to speak.
Okay.
Well,
After each of these.
in terms of the change, is there, I mean, I noticed in 4 and 19, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. You know, it's like between phase 2 and phase 3.
Oh, I
Is
see.
there a theme to the changes? It's like, are they similar, like more stops, later times? It's like in all these changes.
Is there a theme to the changes?
Yeah, well, I'm just saying, for example, the buses are going to run later.
I would say where we're talking about the improvements to the service hours, yes, that we are looking at later service. So there's one exception that we're looking at, and that is the 59, which we are looking at improved frequencies. So that is the only one that we've come across so far where we said we think that we can make some improvements there, and what they need is frequency.
And that's what I mean about a fee structure.
But I would say, but a theme is
A fee structure, well,
later trips.
yeah, later trips, more
Yes.
frequency, yes, but the direction will probably remain more or less the same.
Well, the reason that we go with the later trips, for the most part, is twofold. One is what people ask for.
Right.
Number one, people ask for nights and weekends. And number two, we can do that without any additional fleet. And so we're balancing out that capital side of transit with the operating side.
GW, your questions are answered? Does Dave had a question?
Several years ago, it was recommended 73 be changed. It used to go up past East Bay, turn left on Nursery.
I don't remember.
And it went to Highland and then turned right. So the change was that it went to East Bay, turned left, and went to Highland and then turned right. And then kept up going Highland to Druid and then over to the terminal. But by doing that, it increased the ridership because you covered that area there where the Largo Community Center is, the Largo City Hall. And I was just wondering if it might be possible, since this is kind of I live near that and I take that bus, is to have that bus run from basically East Bay to Main Street as kind of like a shopper back and forth, like every 30 minutes, and cut out the other part where it goes to Tyrone and put a bus on Starkey that goes, or Starkey Keene, it just goes that route all by itself. I think that there's a tremendous amount of potential ridership on Highland Avenue because you got a great deal of businesses there, you got apartments, you got condos, you got schools, and I think we're missing that by not going that entire route. I was just wondering if that might be possible in the future to consider that.
We'll look at that. We'll look at the data that we have for that and see if that works out, because we want to make sure that we're still serving everyone. So there are some areas where we've made decisions to truncate routes.
Right.
If a certain portion of the route isn't working, as long as we can substitute something else. And you see that we've done a lot of that with mixing and matching of routes. But we can look into that. We're probably not going to look at that for
February.
that'll be for February. Yeah. But right now we've said that there's no change. But we're looking at, even though for February, if we've said no change, I mean, that's our gut feel right now.
Right.
But we'll take a look at that because we're in the process of doing the technical work for that right now.
I'm so excited you guys are changing 62 because that's the bus I take from work to go home, and I get off at 4 and the bus is supposed to pass by at 4:20. It doesn't get there to like 5:10. And then the bus after that one will be empty because everyone's getting off that bus. And today when I left work to come to this meeting, it said 3 minutes and then 19 minutes. So it was a bus 3 minutes and 19 minutes. And it always happens like that. One will be really crowded and packed, and traffic down Belcher is very packed, especially at this time, like 4 to 6. So awesome.
Great. That's what helps. And we've noticed that if you'll notice in the suggestions, we are talking about making routes shorter, and that helps us keep on time.
I'll say that you're breaking my heart. The 62, the stops you're pulling,
Yes.
one is right on my front lawn,
Yeah.
replacing it with the part of the connector. But it's for the better good, so I'll surrender that. I think the theme you're going to, though, is a more straight. The 62 is an absurd route, including doubling back on 580, running 2 miles down, making a last 2 miles back, which is just may have been horrible as a rider. So if you've taken that out, that's great. And I know that's what they did in Houston and Jacksonville. Just gone to grid and we're doing that kind of stuff. So that's great. I don't understand exactly, because I've never been up to Duluth, driving these connectors. So much of our area, I know, has got mobile home parks, condos. When I take it this is going to be a connector, I will come to my house and pick me up.
Yes, if you can walk out to the route, you can catch it right on the route.
Right.
And if you want to have it come closer to you, or you have an end destination that is off the route, you can call ahead, and the operator will bring the
Within
bus
some
to you.
distance, within the
Resort.
To your curb.
Well, I have a question on the connector, though, too, related to that, because what I'm told is that increasingly they're not using the short buses and they're using the full-size buses, and there have been a few times I've needed to use the connector where the big buses can't go to the inner places, including at my complex, whereas the little ones can. And so is that all going to be addressed as part of this, too, with the connector taking more?
Those are slightly different issues in that we are having some issues with those smaller buses, but just mechanical issues. And so when they are in the shop, then we use a 29-foot bus.
Okay, so the larger buses are still only being used sort of as needed when the smaller ones aren't available. Okay.
Yes.
Okay, so it is supposed to be small.
But that raises my question, like my wife lives in the back of the trailer court, that we could run a bus back and give her a unit 700, rather than saying, hey, hook out to the front, meet us on. It wouldn't even be on Belcher, it wouldn't be on a major street, it would be on whatever street. Is that how those normally would work?
Yeah, how they would normally work is with the smaller cutaways, they go into the neighborhood, stop at the end of the curb and walk out.
So some logistic.
And we are in the process of actually getting a whole new fleet of smaller vehicles
Okay,
that are more reliable.
Yeah, they're supposed to be
Oh, good, good,
more
good.
heavy
Yeah, 'cause
duty.
It's a good concept.
Yeah.
Are they going to, what are they going to replace those little things with? You're not going to buy more of the like these ladies,
Yeah.
you're not gonna buy more of them, are they?
They're gonna buy ones that are the same size but are heavier duty.
Big.
Gasoline. Yeah.
Any other questions? Well, thank you very much, Cassandra.
Thank you. I hope you'll join us for our public workshops.
Okay. The next information item is the rules of the road with Cindy Raskin.
Oh, am I? No, that's fine. It's okay. Oh, there's no cover sign. No starting there. That's okay. Yes, thank you.
Good afternoon. I am Cindy Raskin-Schmidt, the Director of Marketing and Communications here at PSTA. Several months ago, you all were intimately involved in the development of the passenger code of conduct. And the marketing department has been tasked with putting together a campaign to introduce that code of conduct to the riders. And we've done this in a couple of different ways. We have this lovely draft brochure. It's printed on our printer here in the office. I only have a couple of samples, but I will share them here with you. You guys can pass them around. So the idea behind this promotion is called Rules of the Road, and we have 4 riders who are our stars. We have Rebecca, Riley, Rob, and Ricky. Each of the 4 of them will have an interior bus poster, that's what you see here, and they have some of the rules of the road on each of their posters. So you'll have 4 posters per bus, so we cover the full list of the code of conduct. This is Rebecca, and these are the rules that she is talking about, not specifically speaking, but on the poster. So this is Rebecca. This is Riley. Some of Riley's are carts and strollers must be folded, pets must be in a carrier, weapons aren't permitted. At the bottom of each of the poster, there's the web address, psta.net/rules of the road, which probably isn't active yet, so you can try to go there, but I don't think it's up yet. And then this is Rob. Rob is going to remind you to stay behind the yellow line on the bus, and that you're not allowed to smoke on board, and that you should have proper ID when you get on the bus if you're using a reduced fare. And this is Ricky, and Ricky's going to remind you that you can't have open containers of beverages or open packages of food on board, that alcoholic beverages are prohibited in open containers, and that you have to have headphones if you're going to be listening to music, and that you cannot wear your roller skates or your skateboard. You can't bring your skateboard on the bus unless you're carrying them instead of riding them. So the idea here is we wanted to demonstrate the proper behavior that we would like for all of our riders to demonstrate. So the other really exciting piece of this is videos. We have a series of 4 videos. We have the first one that's ready, and you all will be the world premiere viewing of the video. So if you guys are ready, I can play it for you. Hopefully we have good volume. We tested it earlier.
Those of you who have been on track for a while remember that it was the track committee that really came up with those rules.
Sorry, go ahead. You ready?
This is Rebecca, and she's on her way to school. Rebecca's selling candy for a senior trip, but no soliciting isn't allowed at the terminal. Show her, Rebecca. Don't worry, she'll understand. Well, looks like the bus is here. Rebecca knows not to stand too close to the edge when the bus pulls up. Rebecca! And she knows to have her pass ready. Have a safe trip. Rebecca knows the rules of the road. Do you?
It's cute.
So Rebecca here is played by this really awesome young lady named Katrina Young, and she is a member of the, I'm not going to get the name right, I think it's the Largo Cultural Center's theater group. And those of you that remember Terry Rick, who was with us so recently, she is very actively involved in that theater group. So she was able to recruit the majority of the actors that you're going to see in all of these videos. So, and Katrina actually did the voiceover on her commercial. So our star is also did the voiceover on the commercial. So that's the first one. We hope to have the other 3 videos. They're still in post-production. We're still working on getting the voiceovers lined up just right and getting those recorded properly. And we expect to have them all ready really soon. We're going to be working on launching. We're going to put the first video out next week. The interior bus posters are being ordered, the brochures. We're going to go through a final review. They haven't had the final review process yet, so we'll get those ordered. And you'll start seeing everything on the road really soon. If anybody has any questions, share.
What venue for
the videos?
Yeah.
We're going to put them on our social media platforms. It'll start on YouTube, and we're going to share them out there and hopefully get a good viral following. We're also going to be sharing them with the local television stations. Some of them have PSTA, public service announcement requirements. It's going to require us to format the video a little bit differently. They have very specific size, shape, file guidelines that we'll have to adhere to if they have space available. But that's one of the things we're going to be doing.
So that's what you see at 3 o'clock in the morning.
It could be. Yeah, but we also, our board meetings and your meeting, I'm not sure if your meeting is, but our board meetings are also rebroadcast at, I think, the City of Pinellas Park and the City of St. Petersburg these days. So they're always looking for filler content too. So we'll share that with any of the stations that'll help us spread the word. So then when you all see it on Facebook, if you can all share it too, that would be great. It'd be awesome to have it kind of go viral. That's our crossover mission.
Any other questions?
What do you guys think?
It was lovely. It was very clever.
Good to see you. Good. I think you're going to like the other ones too. Rob, I can go back to the can go back and tell you the stories a little bit, since I think do we have a couple of minutes?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. So this is Rob, and Rob is in the story. Rob will be standing out at the bus stop, and he's smoking an electronic cigarette, and he's got his sweater over his shoulder. He's got like a tank top on, but he doesn't have his shirt on. So he's standing out there, and he's talking on the phone, and he's smoking his electronic cigarette, and the bus will arrive, and as he sees the bus arrive, he'll go, oh, the bus is coming. He'll tuck away his cigarette, he'll turn off the phone, he'll get on some bus pass. He'll be all ready for when the bus arrives. This is Riley. This is Riley and Rowan are the characters' names. And they are at the park. So they have Rowan in a stroller, and they're waiting for the bus to come. And as they notice the bus is approaching, they're putting on Rowan's shoes. So he has shoes and shirt when he gets on the bus. The stroller's folded up, and she carries it on. They sit in the front of the bus. They will have locked the seat, but then they'll open the seat up when another passenger comes on and needs to sit. And then the other one, this is Ricky. Ricky's the one, some of you may have seen the storyboard a few months ago, our first concept idea, and that was Ricky. So Ricky's standing at the bus stop, he's got his headphones on, he's like rocking out and drinking a soda. And he notices it's almost time for the bus, so he's going to finish the soda and throw it away in the trash and turn off his music and get his bus pass ready and get on board. Oh, and he has rollerblades too. So he'll be putting his shoes on instead of having rollerblades. They're really fun. I'm so excited to be able to see them. And Ashley left. Ashley is our videographer, and she did all the editing and put it all together. So it's a really great job. Thank you.
If he throws out his soda, will he be able to throw it into a recycling container? I mean, I hate like hell to watch somebody throwing an aluminum can into the trash.
We don't have recyclables at the bus stop, so he'll be throwing it in the trash can at the bus stop, which is their receptacle that we have available there.
Yeah. Yeah, I want to have that too.
Yeah.
For the future. Exactly.
All right. Well, thank you so much for letting me share.
Thank you.
Madam Chair, speaking of Earth Day, Cindy is going to give a little update on what is going on at PSTA tomorrow.
I will.
Yes.
It's going to be very dirty.
It's going to be a lot of fun. So tomorrow, our safety and security guys are closing the parking lot tonight, so the cars empty out tonight. Tomorrow morning, bright and early, 7 o'clock, we have Ashley, who I mentioned, and Christina, who's a planning staff member, and some of Mike Bloss's team, and they're going to let employees into the parking lot on the which side of the building is that? The west side of the building? I get to put them around. The west side of the building, and let them in one at a time. If they're willing to have their car be part of the display, we're going to line up 50 cars, in a very specific order. And next to those 50 cars, we're going to have a hybrid bus. And we're going to have these giant plastic containers filled with dirt. In the weight of the dirt, lots of math happens. And so we're going to show you the difference between how much dirt or soot emissions would be coming from those 50 cars for a 5-mile trip versus the hybrid bus for that same 5-mile trip. Wow. It's going to be really cool if you guys can come. It's going to start at about 12:15 tomorrow. It'll be right out in the parking lot. It'll be open to the public, and anybody can come and check it out. And it's being oh yeah, we're going to video the heck out of it. Yeah.
You got the news.
And it's at 12:15 till when?
Yeah, we're trying. They're going to leave it up till about 2. They want to give lots of time. 1:30, 2, 1:30 or 2. If you go on our Facebook page again, there's an event set up there, so you can get all of the timing and details. I might have the ending time as well. But yeah, feel free to share that event. It'll be awesome. And then we're also going to be represented on Saturday at the Chart 411 Earth Day event down in Williams Park. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anything else, Brad, that you wanted to
No, I
add
think
at this point?
that's the videography for the week. You'll see a little Earth Day video, I think, on Friday.
Oh, that's right. Your Friday videos are always delightful, by the way. I don't know how the rest of you watch them, but I always look on my email and it comes through and I go, oh, that's great. Yeah. Yes. So thank you.
Someday you guys are going to be stars in the video.
Oh, gosh. Okay. David, look like you're going to say
I
something.
got invited to the ribbon cutting on the 28th. I was going to mention that on the 28th. Roosevelt, where next to Walmart.
Yeah, that's a Largo Transit Center.
Yes.
It's next to the Walmart. It used to be where the Crossroads Mall was.
Yes.
The facility is going to be opening. The grand opening will be Thursday next week. I forgot what time. 1? I think 1 o'clock is the time.
Yep.
So there'll be a ribbon cutting, and we'll have
I never miss a
dignitaries
photo op
there.
because they always have cake.
Yeah, we're going to begin service to the stop itself on Sunday, May 1st, but the grand opening event will be Thursday the 28th.
Oh, good. Thanks for mentioning that, David. Okay. Anything else? I see future meeting subjects, just the system service improvements, and I don't know that there's any other business, so I guess the meeting's adjourned. And we will see each other next month. We are scheduled for May 17th.
Awesome.
Thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you, everybody.
Two quick things I was going to tell you. I know that Elaine mentioned to you that I'm emailing with the guy from Bay News 9.
Yeah, I see the email.
I gave you a copy. The other thing I was going to mention after
I'll send you a
yeah, okay, that sounds great.
That'll be awesome.